Hey guys, this is a video about some brand new features and my favorite things about Live 11, which is officially out next week, so make sure you go check it out. Drum editing or editing any multi-track recordings has gotten super seamless with Live 11. These are stems of 4 different mics that were pointed at a drum kit. With stems like this, it's really important that edits are made consistently across all the audio files. By selecting all the audio tracks, right-clicking, Live gives you the option to link tracks. I can now see that my tracks are linked together. And what this means is that any edits made on one audio track will appear in the same way across all of the linked tracks. This includes creating fades, making selections, deleting audio regions, and moving regions of audio around. You can imagine how easy it gets once your tracks are linked to edit multi-track recordings. In case you want to unlink some or all of the tracks, you simply have to select them, right-click and click on Unlink Track or Unlink Tracks. You can then make edits or adjustments to individual tracks if you wish to do so. The next super exciting thing about Live 11 is comping. So if you're recording in the arrangement view, Live will add take lanes by default. Option Command U shows me my take lanes or hides them. I can also right-click and select Insert Take Lane to add more take lanes. By clicking on the Audition Take Lane button, which goes orange to signify that it's on, I can now audition one take at a time. Comping allows me to curate my take so that I can choose the best performance. By dragging to select a region using draw mode, I can use the command and arrow buttons to toggle between different takes. Using draw mode, the selections from the take lanes get copied directly into the main lanes, and they remain highlighted in a way which tells you which take your selection is from. I've got a drum rack loaded up in my first track. I'm now going to add some hi-hats to this groove. So the first thing I do is go to my Preferences of Ableton Live, and under the Record Warp Launch tab, I make sure that Draw with Pitch Lock is set to on. I do that because of how easy it then becomes to use draw mode to add some hi-hats to my clip. The new Randomize feature is going to help me generate some interesting patterns for these hi-hats. The first thing I do is click on the Chance Editor lane. And now I will set a percentage on the Randomize range slider. Then click Randomize. I'm going to repeat this process with the velocities of the hi-hat in order to humanize the groove a little bit. The velocity range slider helps me select the range from within which the velocity will be selected at random for the corresponding MIDI note. So this really helps further curate the groove in a super interesting way that's innovative and sort of generative. It's also a really quick and easy way to add human and unexpected flares to programmed drums. I've gone ahead and added some synths and a lead line over this groove. I have an instance of Wavetable which is playing my chords, and Wavetable can now be fully controlled using MPE controllers. The MPE tab shows me velocity, pitch bend, slide, and pressure. Since Wavetable is now MPE capable, I can actually draw in parameters for each note for more expressive performances. Access to MPE data is via the Note Expression tab in the clip view. And I can now expand the expression lane for the parameters of slide, pressure, velocity, and release velocity. The parameter I'm going to work with is pressure. I'm going to select the top note of each chord and actually draw in an envelope of a miscellaneous shape using the Draw tool. So this will really begin to create some interesting harmonic movement based on which parameters we assign the pressure envelope to target. I'm going to create a loop for the first half of these chords to listen back. You can further expand your expression lanes to really get in there, and you'll find that these breakpoints behave pretty similarly to automation within Ableton Live. If a note is moved, its expression envelope will move along with it. And hearing that together, another workflow improvement I've really been enjoying has to do with multi-clip editing. It's possible to select and view MIDI clips from up to 8 tracks at a time. I find this particularly helpful when I'm working with harmonic relationships between bass lines and chords. The focus button lets me choose from the multi-clip loop bar to pull selected tracks into the foreground, making it really easy to make adjustments and edit the MIDI notes without affecting the other selected MIDI clips. Clicking on another clip's loop bar will help me switch to that clip for editing. Focus Disabled will show me the contents of all of my selected MIDI clips. Live 11 also now allows you to save the current state of your macro controls as something called a variation or a preset. Toggling through the presets of this 808 core kit, with a single click of a button, you can now control several macro movements at once. And you can also create your own presets. We do this by clicking on New, and effectively that will save a snapshot of all the macro controls. If I made some drastic changes to these controls and created another variation, you can see when I launch these macro variations, all the macro controls change in a single click. They can also be duplicated, deleted, or overwritten. And once you're happy with a set of parameters or many sets of parameters, you can rename your variations and basically save various versions of your drum racks that are unique to you. The maximum number of available macro controls in Live 11 has now been doubled to 16. This means that so much more is possible with these macro controls. But if you have a lot going under the hood and you'd rather hide all of it, you can always hide the macro controls and only keep one on display. Since each of these macro controls are capable of addressing any number of parameters from any devices in a rack, I find it especially useful for live performance. The next and my most favorite is the new hybrid reverb. We'll first take a listen with the hybrid reverb switched off. If you aren't going for your own impulse response, which I would highly recommend you to do, the Convolution IR section allows you to choose from a range of impulse responses that come with this device. That you can mono the bass and set the stereo width to 200 are my favorite features about this reverb. The EQ tab directly within the device is super handy, and with 4 separate bands allows you to shape and mold the sound further.